Hi friends, it's Missy Shipman with Missy's Glad Heart Studio. Today I'm bringing to you a virtual edition of our Zoom class for the Baldwinsville Public Library, May 2026. We have 3 projects today, and one is a special book box that we'll create to put cards inside as a gift or to keep and store yourself. It has 2 nice pockets to put cards and envelopes, and yours will be different from mine. I have an assortment of 25 different ones that I made up, different kits. So in your box, you'll have a surprise box. It will have the box pieces, the 3 pieces of cardstock, a surprise card, and some ribbon. I'm going to teach you how to make that. Here's just a few other samples that I've made. So you'll have a surprise card in your box. Now you might use that card for something else and decide what else you'd like to decorate your box. If you want to use the card for the front of your box, you'll simply cut off the back here of the card, and that will be, the card front will be centered onto the box. So when we work on that project, you can make the decision to use the surprise card included in your box or to leave the box ready for you to add your own decorations. We also have a fun fold card today. It has a cool stand-up design, and there are 4 different versions. So I'll be making this one with us today, but the different versions, that this measurements and folding and everything is the same. It's just that yours will have some different puffy stickers and some different card pieces to work with, but everyone will have that same design. And then another project, again, you'll be able to make some choices. You'll have a card base, and then a piece of the beautiful floral paper. And they're cut from a piece of paper, so there's 3 different designs. You might get one of 3. But you'll notice that I changed the way the paper is cut and added to the paper, to the card base, to just add some more interest. So you'll have a choice to make your card just a flat card where we just layer the beautiful piece of paper onto the card base, or I'll show you some tricks for some dimensions which make this staggered card, and it just adds a lot of visual interest with the up and down movement, the way the pieces are secured. All right, let's begin with our box tonight. So I'm going to move my other pieces out of the way and show you again. We'll be working on the box base that uses 3 pieces of cardstock. And also in your kit, you'll have some tear tape. And this is an adhesive tape. It's double-sided with a wax paper liner, and we'll be using this for our box construction. It's nice and sturdy. So the one I'll be making tonight is this pretty Hawaiian card. My friend Cindy created this card a long time ago in a swap, and I had so much fun going through my cards and finding some special surprise ones for this project this month at the library. So I'm going to begin by cutting off that back of the card, just so I don't forget later. And I'm just going to go right along that score line there. It's at 4 1/4 inches, and I'm going to use my dark blade to just peel that piece away. And now I have the front ready to adhere to the front of the card, of the box. Now I've done the pre-scoring for you, so you'll need to have some kind of bone folder or your finger or the back of a spoon just to crease those score lines. There are 2 score lines on the book cover base, the box base. I call it a book cover because the box opens like a book. So we have that piece ready with our 2 score lines at 5 and 6. And now I'm going to add this to the front of my card using the tear tape. You could also use another adhesive of your choice, but I included it in the kit so we could make our box together, and it will also do well to hold together this card front onto the front of the card of the box. Okay, so we're going to peel off the wax liner, and that's revealing this sticky double-sided tape. And we can put that right centered onto the front of our book box cover. There we are, and just push to help that adhesive strip grip the cardstock, and that will be a nice secure bond. Oh, but before, what I forgot, if you don't push it too hard, I did this last time too, we want to put a ribbon in there. So don't do what I just did. Before you put your card on, we've got to put our ribbon in place. This is good. It's a teachable moment. What we're going to do is take our ribbon and fold it in half. And when you have that center piece, the halfway part, that's going to go along the seam of the book here, the binding of the book, and slide in place. Now I forgot, because I already put some adhesive down. Now I'm just going to take a little piece. I'll show you. Let me remove it so I can show you how I would recommend doing it from the start. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a piece of the tear and tape and put it down across the middle of the front here. And then we can take our ribbon and fold it in half. Take that center mark and put it along the book binding, and then lay across and use your finger to smooth that. That's going to anchor the ribbon now until we put the card base on. Now, because I put the adhesive down and then had to pull it up, I'm going to put a few more strips of adhesive. Normally you would just need one around each of the sides, but that's a good reminder that you want to first anchor your ribbon before you put down your card. And then the card is going to really hold that ribbon in place and decorate the front of the box. All right, next we're going to work on the pockets. These pockets, again, have been pre-scored for you, so you'll see the score lines that I made with our trimmer. These measure a 1/2 inch and 1 inch on the 3 sides, 2 short sides and 1 long side. What we'll do is fold on those score lines and use the bone folder or your thumbs or the back of a spoon to really crease those score lines, burnish them back and forth. They're going to create a little kind of a half box, right? It's a little tray almost that the cards can fit into. Go ahead, make sure we have all those lines nicely creased. All right, now we have to do just a little bit of cutting here. We're going to make kind of an L shape on the edge. We're going to cut away an L shape like this. So each corner of the box is going to be removing those 3 squares. And then we're going to snip so that we have a little tab here. We have a tab and 3 squares are now missing. Okay, we'll do the same over here. We're going to take away those 3 squares from the corner. Looks like an L. Over here it's a backwards L, isn't it? And then we're going to snip so that we have a tab. So we have three missing squares and little tabs for each piece. Let's do it again on the second one. If you're working along with me while you're watching the video, that's terrific. Remember also that you can pause, stop, rewind when this video is uploaded to the YouTube for the Baldwinsville Public Library. You can go back and access this video as part of the playlist of card making classes at the Baldwinsville Public Library. We've been doing this for over 5 years, so there's lots of episodes. You can go back and get inspired. There we are. Excellent. Now we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to take away those 3 little squares in the corner, cut to make a little tab right there. Same over here. And cut that one away and a little tab there. What might you do? Make some confetti with the little squares perhaps. Okay. Now we're going to use our tear and tape to make these pockets. What we're going to do is fold it over so that it's on the, how it's kind of bumped up a little bit. That's the piece that's going to need tape so that it will be along the edges here like this. When we fold the box up, we want the tape to go along here. So to do that, I'm going to flip it over. It's going to be a little bit bumpy here, and I'm going to add a strip to each of those 3 sides that we did the scoring and folding. Okay, there's one. And I'll do the other piece too. It's called tear and tape because it's very easy to tear. Some people do like to use scissors, but you can easily just use your nail to kind of crease where it's going to fold, where it's going to cut. Alrighty, next let's go ahead and make our first pocket. So I'll show you here. This is what we're going for, is a place where our cards and envelopes will be able to tuck right inside. I usually have 2 cards and 2 envelopes that fit neatly on each side, but for now I'll demonstrate it like that, okay? So we're gonna peel off the liner, wax liner, from the 2 short sides first. And we'll fold that in. We're gonna tuck those little tabs in there. They're gonna help keep things nice and straight. Gonna tuck in the tab, fold over that part with the tape, and then square it up at the bottom. Okay. Do the same over here. Tuck that tab in and square up along that bottom. All right, there. So we want to keep this as square as we can when we put it onto our card, the box holder cover. The cover is where the card is, so it doesn't really matter that at this point the pockets are the same for left and right. Now, I like to eyeball it along the bottom here. There's going to be just a little bit of space showing on the bottom and on the left and the right. It's hard to see with the same color paper, but you'll see here there's just about a 1/4 inch along the bottom. I'm going to push here gently, and then when I go over to the sides, I want to make sure to keep this as straight as I can, not have it angle in, because remember, we want to make sure our pockets will fit inside. Sometimes it helps me to put the envelope right inside while I'm working, just to make sure that the card stock doesn't turn in. Once I have that in place, I can take my bone folder or a pencil or a pair of scissors, kind of push in there to burnish the adhesive and make sure that pocket is secure. We'll do it again. We're going to take off the wax paper liner. Here we are. Oh, I guess I did the bottom that time too. You're going to fold in the little tab and the side piece, square it up at the bottom. It's a little sticky if you take all the tape off at once, but that's okay. Just use that tab. It's going to help you keep things nice and square, like so. And we're going to position it along the bottom again. Line it up at the bottom first. That's where it's easiest to see the straight line. Then go across to each side. You can tuck your envelope in again. That helps us visually see it, and it also helps us from we don't want the cardstock to go in so that it would restrict the envelopes and cards going inside. There we are. So now we have our book box ready, and you can give it a nice tie. We're going to fill it up, of course, with cards you create, but here's the look of a finished box. Isn't that pretty? Excellent. Next, let's go ahead and make our card that looks like the, let's see where my samples are. Here they are, the butterfly ones. They have butterflies and birds. Okay. So you'll have, in your kit, you will have supplies for one of these cards. And it'll be in an envelope like this. You'll take it out, and let's see which one. I have the one that has this pretty peach color. And I think on camera I'll be able to keep the others though, so you can see if your set is different from mine, you'll be able to see how to put yours together. All right, we're going to do a little bit of stamping on the little banner here. On my samples, I have happy birthday. On my sample today, I'm going to put to one of the nicest people I know. And I'm going to use the basic gray and ink that up and then place it onto the banner there. Now this stamp is a really sweet one that's part of a set called Lily of the Valley, and it has "So grateful for you," "To one of the nicest people I know," "Happy for you," "To a forever kind of friend," and "Happy birthday," plus a little thanks. It's a beautiful stamp set. Comes with some coordinating paper and an embossing folder, all kinds of pieces and parts. So you have a piece of cardstock that's been scored, lots of scoring prep for this class. And I'm going to show you now, we're going to burnish the other score lines, making some valley and mountain folds here. So when it's standing up, you'll see it looks like a mountain fold, a valley fold, a valley fold, a mountain fold. Or, you know, a zigzag kind of look. And we have several little pieces. And you'll have a puffy sticker in here too. Yours might be the butterfly. It might be the bird with floral flowers. It could be different pieces. But we're going to layer up. There are 2 pieces of white in most of ours. Some of them have stripes, and you might not have an extra piece, but that's to put on the back of the card. We'll go ahead and do that now just so it's out of the way. And this is so that if you, especially if your kit includes a card base that's very dark, it's nice to have a white liner inside for writing. So that's the back. We can flip it over and work on the front. Now our pieces are going to layer nicely. They're cut so that they have a frame of the white or a frame of whatever the contrasting color is. So here you can see it has the contrasting lagoon to the gray. Here it's the cloud cover to the white. So depending on your pieces, you'll see how they fit together. There'll be a fancy one that fits on top. Now they have double sides, so you can pick which color paper you want to have showing and put glue on the other side. And then we'll glue that directly to our card front. Now, if you don't have adhesive like I'm using, you can use the tear and tape that came in your kit. That will work nicely for this project too. And we have a couple side pieces here. They're going to go on the edges like this and this. See how it's coming together? So let's go ahead and add our adhesive to the white. Adhere the colored paper to the white or whatever your contrasting matte color is. That's going to be centered on this folding piece. This one over here. This card was designed as part of a fun cooperative class that I do with my friend Cindy, who lives in Hawaii. I mentioned her earlier when I was admiring her beautiful hibiscus card. This is a card that Cindy created. Cindy lives in Hawaii, and we like to do projects coast to coast. So we cooperate and coordinate our planning and our classes and our design work to be able to do things together. So we had a special class that worked with butterflies and birthdays and blessings. So we had a lot of colorful cards. I'm going to just add that banner with a couple of dimensionals to the side of my card, like this. And it can hang over the edge here. You just don't want it to hang over the final edge of the card, but I like how it's kind of flapping off of that side. And then we'll take our bird sticker, or if you have butterfly or whatever your card is, I'll bring that back in again. Remember, yours might be different. There's a few that match mine and several of the different varieties. Then we can use these dimensionals. If you don't have dimensionals, that's okay, but they are a wonderful adhesive, and you may find them in a past kit. They're often in our library kits. This time, though, I included that special tear and tape for you to have a sample. And we'll add our bird like that, and there we have it. So that's a lovely card, and I think you'll enjoy whichever version you have as a card to share. And on the back, if you wanted to stamp something, you'd want to do that before you added all this puffy stuff. So I had the right idea to start us with the white, but then I didn't think about putting on a greeting. But you could do all of your nice writing here. So that's our card project. Let's go ahead and tuck it right inside our box, shall we? I'm going to open it up and put it in my envelope. And then, make sure it's It's down in there all the way. Oh, I see what's happened. This is a happy surprise. Inside, there are some gems, and now they're hiding. Let's see if we can find them. I just saw them. There are little gems that go on your card. That's something I almost forgot. Do you see on my sample, I have the 3 gems, and each card here has a couple of those sparkly gold foil gems. Well, that was a happy accident or surprise for us to find those so that we can add them to our card. The card didn't want to fit into the envelope because it had these happy gems here. So I'm going to put one right there too, to one of the nicest people I know. So that's a happy card for someone to receive. And it's fun to make a card that's not just for a birthday or an anniversary or a very specific occasion, but just a love you card, or I'm thinking of you card, or you're so glad you're my friend kind of card. There. Now we can tuck that into our book box. And now we're ready to complete our final project, our 3rd card. Just one last look at these so that you can take a look and see whichever card you had in your kit, you can find out the way I've designed it. Although, of course, you're always welcome to make projects any way you like using the supplies that we provide. It's a lot of fun to see the variations that people come up with for using supplies, adding supplies from their own stash to enrich the project, and that's a lot of fun. So here we have this card, which you can kind of step up with some special cutting if you want, or you can keep it as a flat piece. The paper is beautiful. It is looks like a watercolor paper. It feels flat. It's printed to look like a watercolor paper, and it has these beautiful wild color designs printed on it. And then you also have a piece of watercolor paper that we can add a little sentiment tag if we want to, or you could stamp directly onto your paper. So for this one, I'm going to show you how to do the cutting. If you go every ½ inch, you'll get this really neat gate kind of look. It's not an optical illusion per se, but it just helps you engage your eye because of the different depth of the card. This one, what I did was I measured in from each side. I measured, I think, 1 1/4 inches from this side and from this side so that the center panel is just a little bit wider, but that was easy to do with just 2 cuts. Do you notice what's shiny on here where you pick up the shimmer on the pink flowers? There we go. That's called Wink of Stella. It's a special marking pen, and it's really clever to add just a little bit of magical shine. On this card, I added it to the yellow flowers. You can see them sparkle a little bit. And also to the edges of the piece of watercolor paper. I first inked a little bit of the Blackberry Bliss at the edge, and then I moved it around with the Wink of Stella to make that really shiny. Alrighty, let's go ahead and cut our piece so then I can show you how I put it together using dimensionals. I'm going to cut at ½ inch intervals. Now, we're going to use the dark blade. The dark blade is for cutting, and I'm simply going to cut every ½ inch. Slide that away. And I like using this edge of the trimmer here to butt the paper up against to keep it at a nice 90-degree angle, because the measuring in this direction allows me to go over 1.5 inches. So if my scoring is less than 1.5 inches, I generally use the ruler on the right for my cutting. Gonna keep on going. It gets a little trickier when your piece is smaller, but I'll show you how I do it. You wanna keep your pieces kind of in order. It's like putting together a puzzle. If you don't have a trimmer, you could use another kind of straight edge, or you can make this card as a flat card or with just the 1 or 2 cuts. But I did want to show you, this is kind of a trendy style card design that's happening now within card making, to use this every other bump up style. And to do that, we use dimensionals. So remember when we were making the other card, I talked about having a liner inside or on the back to write on. I forgot to include that for this card. So you have a beautiful Blackberry Bliss card base, and you could either use a white gel pen to write inside, or take a piece of copy paper or other kind of cardstock and add that to the inside to do your writing so it's easier to read. Okay, we'll bring back our example here. And I'm going to start with a strip that's just flat over here. Now see, this paper is different from the paper that I just cut. Remember, there are 3 different designs. So what I want to do before I glue is make sure I have my pieces lined up correctly like a puzzle. You can see there. So it's stretched out right now. It's going to be compressed, but I'm going to begin with the one at the end, a little bit of my multi-purpose glue, and that's going to go just at the edge, leaving a little line of matte there, a little bit. Let me put some white behind there so you can see that a little better. Just have a little matte of white. Okay, this next one now we're going to add dimensionals to pop it up. So I'm going to take some dimensional pieces here, 1, 2, 3, and pop them up. You could use more if you like them. You could use foam strips. And I'm going to go right to the edge and maybe even just a hint over in order for them to line up properly. There's the next one. We're going to make flat. So we glue it with the Tombow glue. Again, it's going to go right up to the edge, if not just a tiny sliver under. Not too much. There we go. And now the next one bumps up with dimensionals. This time I'm going to just have 4 there. Vary it a little bit. Take away the wax liners. So it's fun if you do any looking at Pinterest or any favorite card maker blogs or websites. This is a design style you might see. It's popular right now, this cutting into strips and then layering. Sometimes people do use the same 2 pieces of the same design so that there's actually a piece underneath that you're layering the pieces onto. If you have a lot of paper to use, then and double sheets, then that works nicely. Let's see that. This one pops up. So I'm ready for springtime. I'm thankful for the sunshine we've enjoyed. Even though we've had some cold temperatures, I love our sunshiny days. And May promises more good weather for us. There we are. 2 more. This one's going to be flat. So you can fiddle with the width. You could do 3/4 inch or whatever you like. I liked doing the 1/2 inch. I felt that that gave a nice kind of illusion almost of movement. There we are. And we'll add that one last. So then if we've done a careful job, we're going to have that frame also matte all the way around the card now. And next up, we can add a sentiment. And I love the stamps that says, you make the world a better place, or thankful for you, or you're an amazing friend. They'll all fit. This is from a stamp set called Fern and Flora that's brand new. It just starts being available tomorrow on May 5th. But I'm going to do You Make the World a Better Place. It's a kind of a tight fit, but we're going to go ahead. I'm going to find my ink for us here, the Blackberry Bliss, and ink up this stamp. And I'm going to put it right onto the center of the watercolor paper. There, You Make the World a Better Place. And I'm going to take this shimmer. Remember I told you there's a couple different ways to add that color. I'm going to smush my ink pad together to make a little puddle inside the lid here. And that will be my place to pick up some Wink of Stella. Actually, another way, I'll show you two ways. Another way is to take a clear block and just tap it. And I'm going to use this instead, actually, so that my Wink of Stella doesn't contaminate into the Blackberry Bliss. But you can watercolor right in the pad if you squeeze it, or if you take a clear block and add some ink to it and pick it up either with a watercolor brush or with the Wink of Stella. So because I want to add some color to the edges of this, I'm picking up the Blackberry Bliss with the Wink of Stella, and you can see how it's shimmery, shimmery. This is one's a little different than the way I did it before. You can stretch out that color, turn it, and pick up the ink. And the Wink is, ooh, there's a nice deep, rich color of the Blackberry Bliss. Depending on how much ink you put on there, you can vary the intensity of the color. And lots of happy shine. There, that's lovely. And that, I think, helps to center the greeting a little bit better, the sentiment, because it is a wide sentiment rather than a tall one. I'm just stretching out. See how I'm spreading that color a little bit above and below the lines. You make the world a better place. I hope you can see that shimmer. It's really lovely. Super. We put that away and we'll add this to our card. Now here's a decision point. You can decide where you want your greeting to be. I think I'm going to put it up in this center spot. It would also look lovely centered here or off to the side here, but I'm going to put dimensionals, 2 dimensionals, one on each of those popped up strips right here. Peel those away, and then I can position my sentiment right there. You make the world a better place. So here's a few that are similar. Remember, if you don't have a cutter or you want to just go a quick, easy route, you can go ahead and stamp right onto your paper, or just put it flat and then add a greeting to that. You saw on the Wink of Stella added to the other cards. I'm going to show you now. Because I use the Blackberry Bliss, I need to take a piece of scrap paper and wipe off that ink. Let's see what I can find quickly here. Okay, I'm going to take just this piece of scrap paper, and you see how there's some of the Blackberry Bliss still on the marker tip? If I just do a little bit of swirling, it's now back to the clear shimmer. So this can be used with any color of ink, but now I want to go over and just paint right onto the flowers. I'm going to do it on the yellow flowers. Just those pretty petals and centers. And it adds just a little, it's called a Wink of Stella. It's just a pretty shimmer shine. There we are. You could keep going and add it everywhere, but I'm just going to keep it to those flowers. So that's our third project. And let me just pull in the other things we created together. Our May Your Birthday Be Memorable. But yours will have a different surprise card on your box cover. And then the card that we created with the special puffy stickers and the fun fold design. So I hope that's fun for you to be inspired by, some products to play with and create with the supplies that came in your kit and combine them with items from your stash. It's always fun to gather each month with the library friends, and we look forward to hearing your feedback. If there's something special you'd like to learn or try that I might be able to help you with, would you reach out to me? It's fun. Questions help me learn things, so I love having questions or requests. Share with a friend the opportunity to pick up a consumable kit at the library each month and craft along together to make some fun projects. Happy May, everyone. Bye-bye.